So what do you think of the renovations of the ref room?
Looks a little different, looks a little new. Quite spacious.
Hold on a sec, we're not in the ref point room. We're at La Section Barbershop. A big thank you to La Section for allowing us to record while the ref room and Honorable Records is getting renovated and getting changed up. We're really excited for the new studio. We cannot wait to show you guys, give you previews. And honestly, big thanks to La Section for hosting us. Hello and welcome to the Reference Point Podcast. I'm your host, Paolo, and today I'm joined by my two Padawans, Anthony and Matthew.
Hi, good to be here.
And today we're going to be talking about Star Wars: The Acolyte. Following up on the previous episode, if you haven't seen it, make sure to watch it before jumping in, because we're talking about the finale. We're getting into spoilers. What are our initial thoughts?
It was okay.
I think people were maybe a little bit too quick to judge 2 episodes out the gate as to where the show was going to go, how good it was, how bad it was.
You're saying we didn't have to review it?
I think, yeah, that's it. I think as a mystery box show, I think there's a lot intentionally that is being, cast aside, left out in mystery, literally, so that things get revealed along the way. And I think judging things a little bit too quickly after 2 episodes, questions that people may have, that people think are actual complaints, could actually be resolved in compelling ways. Here's the problem, right? They didn't do that. And the show, honestly, it broke my heart a little bit. It really disappointed me at the end of the day.
I was honestly really disappointed. I had a lot of expectations going into it. There was a nice build-up. I thought they had something good on their hands, but as the show progressed, it really started to fall apart. Like, we were getting to see basically these plot threads and ideas that are good inherently. Like, on paper, they're great ideas, but the way they're strung together is either sloppy or incredibly contrived.
I think you pretty much nailed it. Like, you guys go back, watch the first video. I kind of said, wow, this is pretty good. I really enjoyed this. But as the season progressed, I'm like, I swear the haters didn't get to me. I don't listen to the haters online.
Yeah.
But I'm watching, I'm like, this is just like failed potential. Like, there's a lot of great ideas that are just hindered by the way it's written and the way it's made, and I felt so disappointed by the end of it. And the finale is pretty good, but I kind of felt too little too late, that I'm just like, yeah, this is a lot of squandered potential. That being said, it's better than half the garbage Star Wars put out already, because trash.
Honestly, I don't know about that, actually.
I really don't know about that.
In terms of strong ideas, potential,
totally,
even like design and everything, I think this is leagues above Boba Fett.
Yes.
Mando Season 3.
Yes.
The animated shows like Tales from the Empire, trash. It's just that it just falls
was the
short.
only one that I actually found to be, like, it had a lot of problems too.
Yeah.
But it was still a show that I found had a strong focus, and it worked. And it worked a lot better than this show. Even the performances are like, they're fine. I think a lot of people are really mean to the actors online. They're all pretty good. Like
at the end of the day, it's a fucking Star Wars thing. Like, if you watch the originals, most of the acting is not good. Princess Leia literally swaps accents. She starts off British and then she's American.
So, you said you hated that guy in the first 3 episodes, the millennial dude. Turns out he's a Sith Lord.
Yeah, I know I said that I was going to be really disappointed if it was him. The way he then switches up to be like actually serious in a decently written character, I was like, okay, you know what? He's doing this like drunken master type vibe.
Yeah.
Like, I can roll with it.
I thought he was arguably the best part of the show.
Agreed.
Everything about him, his performance, just the physicality he even brought to the role, I thought was incredible.
Yeah.
The presence of just that Sith Lord, the stranger, so good. Really blew me away.
I'm annoyed that he doesn't have a name. He's just a stranger. It's like, that's one of the problems with a lot of the modern Star Wars stuff. It's like, we're not getting names anymore. We're just getting titles.
Call him like Glup Shido or something.
But again, is that something that, they're intentionally leaving out? Or, because here's the thing, right? And this is one of my bigger issues with the show. I feel like each episode that progresses, I have more and more little nitpicks that are becoming bigger and bigger problems.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but are they, once we get to the heart of this mystery and what caused all of this, maybe it's all going to be resolved. But the problem is these issues keep mounting and mounting and mounting into something bigger and bigger, and I start losing more and more interest as the show goes on. So ultimately, I feel like the biggest really issue that the show has is at the core of it, the mystery element behind it, what caused all of this, I found was sloppily written, uncompelling.
Okay,
because of its execution.
Yes.
Okay, as you mentioned before, on paper, like the actual story to the show, I think is very, very strong.
Yeah.
It's the teleplay, it's the screenplay, if you will. It's the execution of these crucial moments that really, really should be impactful. That really should make me care about the two leads, let's say Osha and May, which we have a lot to talk about with them.
Yeah.
This is really what's at the heart of the show's problem.
So I mean, let's kind of start off with even the virgins, the twins, being made from the Force. The idea itself is good.
I think it's interesting.
It's interesting, but I feel like now that we have, spoiler alert, Plagueis in the mix, I feel like now that kind of takes away from Anakin's story, and not in that stupid way people say, but rather, my guess is that the implication is that Plagueis is going to learn from Osha and May how to create life through the Force, and that's how he's going to create Anakin.
But that's so telegraphed, and it's another issue with the show.
I know.
Everything.
Hold on.
I don't want to complain about stuff that hasn't happened yet.
I know, but I feel like then it just comes off as like we didn't need an explanation about how midichlorians can be.
But you're complaining about something that hasn't happened, man.
No, but you can even say it applies too with the whole like idea of the virgins and everything, creating life. Like we didn't really need that. The fact that it was just manipulation through the Force was enough for me, and that the fact that they had to go in and explain it just felt. I didn't like it.
I found the idea to be fine. It was more like the Anakin thing. First off, we don't really know it's manipulation. We just know it was the Force. Whereas these, we know it was the witches and their dark magic created these two people, or one person.
Technically, yeah, one person.
But that's what creates them. So I find I thought it was a cool concept, and it didn't take away because it's like hundreds of years before. So it's like, I
dig the concept. I dig actually every major plot beat in the show. I think it's very interesting. It's the execution of these plot beats that really bother me.
But that's exactly where a lot of my problems with the show come in, is that what great ideas we have, but you know what, we're kind of just gonna like throw them on screen. We're just kind of doing them.
There is one huge benefit that this show has, and I think we all unanimously agree that
it airs at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Yes,
and not 3 a.m.
That is a huge plus for us in the Eastern Coast for sure. But no, look, it's the action choreography, it's the lightsaber battles, it's the second unit direction. I think phenomenal. Like it's some of the best action we've got in Star Wars, I think, period.
Every episode that had action, I always sat down and I said the action is the best part of this episode because they elevated it so well. The choreography was on point, which I find in a lot of these Disney Plus shows are really bad for choreography. These ones, every time there's a fight scene, they kind of nailed it. Like they nailed it.
It was
no
enough,
complaints.
like influence from other movies, martial arts movies, while also being its own thing. It felt grounded, it felt real, and it was a nice mix of like that prequel showmanship and that groundedness of the original trilogy.
Even like there's like a lot of cool moments, like the stranger's helmet, like just turning off lightsabers. Like that shit was so sick.
Because of the cortosis, which was a nice
that
little
was
detail.
cool.
I do like how it draws from, I know Paolo is gonna love hearing this, Legends lore, let's say, or like, just like external kind of like canon, whatever.
I like that Leslie Headland wasn't a Star Wars nut because she managed to create these ideas and have these ideas and then draw in the elements that she needed through, honestly, research.
Guys, I gotta say this because it's been itching me all week since it happened. This guy Torben is a Padawan, right? So he makes a bit of an irrational decision. But what he did was, I don't want to justify what he did, but it was bad, but it wasn't like horrendous. This guy killed himself over what he did.
Yeah.
What, guys? Like it was so undeserved and so unearned that I'm just like, I felt so disappointed by the payoff of that.
Especially because
more than anything,
he made a mistake, but yet it wasn't literally even as bad as Kalnaka or even Soul did. He was the least of the things of their issues.
I don't even think he killed anyone.
He didn't.
That's my point.
The big issue is each episode passes, and within said episodes, you get moments that only happen because the plot requires it to happen, not because they come from deep character motivations. I have issues when May, let's say, decides to then go, oh, you know what? No, I'm just gonna turn myself in. I'm gonna switch sides. I'm gonna completely do a 180 on what I believe in as a character. And then you wait till the next episode thinking, oh, but this can't actually be real. This is what I was saying before about little things mounting each and every episode, little problems. It's like, okay, but no, like, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's hold on. There's probably something else going on there. But no, in reality, it's just because characters do illogical things simply because the plot requires it. Like this whole mystery. When we ultimately got to see what happened, I just felt so unbelievably underwhelmed by this horrible, heinous thing that the Jedi did. I found it, like, again, on paper, super compelling. I love the idea that especially Sol needed to choose between saving Osha and May, and then he lets May die. I found that super compelling. But even the way that's executed, you mean to tell me you're just holding up the walkway with force, which is just so incredibly heavy? Why don't you just levitate the girls? Like, they weigh nothing. Like, bring them to you. Like, use the force
scale. You know how much they weigh.
It's just but it's illogical things like that.
It's got good ideas sprinkled throughout, but the problem is, it's all sloppy. Like, let's tackle it character by character. Indara, what did she do? She was the most rational one. She even said, like, we should not engage with them, and she had to come in at the end to save everyone. Was it because she killed all those force switches when she saved Kelnaka?
Even that just felt so out of place.
I thought they looked like they took a nap. Like, give me a break.
It literally was like, okay, well, I'm writing the scene. It's like, how are we now gonna make sure that all the witches die? Okay, what's the most convenient, easy?
They pass out.
Like,
dumb.
And it's littered with that. I hate it.
Next, let's go to Kelnaka. What did he do? He got possessed. It wasn't even his fault.
Yeah.
And yet, he has the shame. And even then, that shame is only tackled in the last year of his exile, in quotations. Because he was still working for the Jedi. He was still doing Jedi duties. For 15 years. And then afterwards, on the 16th year, he decides, oh, I know, I'm gonna go into exile, no talk, nothing. Okay. And then we see the explanations, oh, the Mad Claw. They don't take
that wasn't
the
even
effort.
explored
Exactly.
well.
They didn't take the effort to even show the claw. He didn't show him, like, clawing up. We have
maybe explain what the Mad Claw even is.
I'll explain in a second, but, like, basically the Wookiees, they have this thing where if they use their claws, it's considered a shameful act.
We don't even know if that's canon anymore.
No, it is. It's from the new comics and stuff.
Okay, I don't know.
So it's like if they use their claws, it's considered shameful, and then they're kind of like exiled and like, shunned from society. Mm-hmm. And so they're saying, oh, Kelnaka used this. Problem is, we saw zero hallmarks of the Mad Claw. We didn't see him like kind of lash out. We didn't see claws. Sol was wrong from the beginning because he formed an emotional attachment, as Indara pointed out. He was the one who just was adamant on getting May and Osha and getting Osha to the Jedi Council. He was blinded by his own visions and ambitions and whatever. Next, he's the one who goes in and he has to like save them, has to test them. Already the witches are not into it. And then he's the one that's prodding and poking when he shouldn't have. And then finally, he starts following them when Osha and stuff are at the temple, and he sees what we see in episode 2 or 3?
3, I think.
3, episode 3.
He sees what we see, but the thing is, what he sees is genuine cause for concern. He sees like them forcing them to fight. Talks of sacrifice and dying. He genuinely believes that they're in danger. And especially because they set him up as a force cult. Cults aren't good. Like, you know what I mean? And they already assume they might be some kind of branch off of night witches. Already bad, like, kind of assumption. And so Sol made these assumptions in his mind and then went for it anyway. And then the big death, Mother Anastasia, she turns into this fucking scary ghoul, like out of the Lord of the Rings, and May starts disappearing, and he thinks it's Osha, and so he stabs Mother Anastasia, and then she has to say, like the fucking shit disturber, I was gonna let her go. Then why did you turn into a fucking ghoul?
It's people online who are complaining, so now the Jedi are evil nowadays, and it's just like one of the stupidest complaints I ever heard, because it's like they weren't. First off, they're saying this when the show started, and it's like, first off, let's get the whole picture before you start complaining. Mm-hmm. Second off, it clearly showed that like they're just more than anything, they're flawed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Guys, they've always been flawed in every Star Wars movie we've ever seen. You ever watch Return of the Jedi? You've seen that movie?
No, what is that?
It's pretty good. It's like the last one they released before they do all those sequels. But in that
Gotta
movie,
check it out then.
Luke Skywalker says, "I want to forgive my father," right?
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan and Yoda, who are, you know, Jedis. They're Jedis, actually. I don't know if you haven't seen it, so I'll get into it. These two Jedis say, "No, you should actually kill him." And now people are saying, "Oh, the Jedis are only evil now because of Disney." It's like, no, they kind of always make a lot of mistakes. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But even then, the way things are portrayed is completely justified.
Yes.
And another thing too, it's like the whole time I'm watching the show, and it's like this is not just going to be a season 1. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Because you could know when a show is not going to have the time necessary to wrap up everything properly. Right, the episode past the halfway point. It's been like that with every Star Wars show, every Marvel show on Disney Plus, any show in general. If you hit that halfway point and you see that things aren't coming together enough, you know that it won't be resolved properly. At least everything won't be resolved.
Yeah.
So the issue that I have is that by the very end of the show, they managed to wrap up most things, most questions that we had, but left us wanting more to see things that I really wanted to see throughout the whole show. But there's just the issue. The show didn't, in my opinion, earn my respect. It didn't earn my willingness to want to see more because it was good in itself. It did it because it held back the things that I wanted to see, and then in the very last episode, sprinkled in little clues and little tidbits. I would have loved to see more of Darth Plagueis. And that's okay if you want to have that exact same shot of him creeping out from the cave, and wanting to set that up in a season 2. That's fine. But let me care about the season 1 first. Give us a good show first. And then, with that, make us want a season 2.
Especially when you have like characters like May and Osha, who kind of like by the end of the season felt like super hollow.
I didn't like these characters.
didn't
the
mind
show's
them.
biggest failure was that I didn't care enough about its two, other than Soul, its two leads. I
kinda
cared
get where
more
you're
about
coming
Soul
from.
than anything else.
But I found they were super hollow more than anything. So that I didn't care for them. It's like, I wanted to, but they didn't really give us much.
So at the very least, if you hated the show, you could still go back and maybe watch those lightsaber fights.
Yeah.
Or even those hand-to-hand, fighting choreography bits.
But overall,
really
kind of
strong.
bad.
Not
Yeah.
bad. I would say missed potential.
Yes.
Yeah, I think very mediocre. I think that's my overall opinion.
That's the show. Thank you for listening. If you liked what you saw here, leave a comment, leave a like. What do you think of the Acolyte? Are we wrong? Are we right? Are we shills? Are we ugly?
haters?
Are we paid by Disney?
Yeah, apparently we're paid big bucks by Disney, but we're fucking poor.
Can there be a fire in space?
Disney, if you're paying, I would have said the show was good. Sorry, it didn't balance this week.
You can find us on all social media platforms at RefPoint Podcast. And that's it.
And guys, don't forget to support your local comic book stores.